you said like the pay. Because you hear a lot of, you hear Taraji, you hear Monique, you hear a lot of black, Viola Davis, who has the EGOT.
Yeah.
We hear a lot of black actors, actresses talking about the discrepancy in pay.
Yep. Yeah.
Have you experienced that?
For sure. For sure. It's interesting because, I remember talking to Jonathan about a project and he asked me what my quote was. And I told him and he was like, no. He was like, absolutely not. No. And I kind of knew, but I also was like, I know how much I've worked in my life to even get to that point.
Right.
But the discrepancy is a discrepancy. And it actually disappoints me that people have, made fun of Taraji or whoever, like crying and saying because it's not right. And people don't realize that they're like, oh, well, you're an actress, you're rich and famous, you're wearing nice dresses and rings and stuff. And I'm like, no, baby doll, let me explain something to you. We go to work sometimes 15, 18 hours a day. And the energy, the work that we do, the giving that we give of ourselves, everything around it is a lot of work. And then not just that, you walk out of the house and you work a lot more just walking down the street or doing press for a project. And you see people and athletes, whatever is getting paid, what they get paid for their talent and their work ethic and everything they bring to the table. Why do black actresses not deserve that? And we are working very, very, very hard. I've worked hard my entire life. I have never not worked hard.
Right.
So, especially in the realm of when it's being compared to what other people are getting. I remember this same show I'm telling you about. I was the lead on that show, but I was number 2 on the call sheet. And the guy who was number 1, who's a white gentleman, such a sweetheart, an incredible human being, he was like, this isn't right. He was like, you should be number 1 on the call sheet. And I was like, yeah, no, but it's just, there's so much of that people have to speak up. And, and it's unfortunate that they have to be somewhat of a martyr for people to start paying attention.
Right.
And then it's like, okay, don't just pay attention. Y'all do something about it.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it is a big thing and it's really not right. And it's really not cool. And, and what I will say, thinking about Tyler Perry is the first person to pay me what I should get paid.
Wow.
First person. And did not blink an eye. He said, how much do you want? I said, let me talk to my team, really quick. And he's like, just tell me how much you want. I was like, Tyler, I said, let me just, because I wasn't quite sure what to ask for. And then, I was talking to Jonathan and he was like, you should ask for this. And I was like, no, I can't ask for that. And I was like, I don't like, it's like, it's almost a mentality. And then going back to the child actor syndrome too, it's like, I don't want to lose the job.
Right.
But it's like, you forget what an asset you are.
But sometimes they make you sometimes they make you feel like you should be grateful that we even offered you the job.
Right.
And you should take whatever we're offering you.
Right.
As opposed to saying, well, she's talented. There's a reason why we're offering her the job. Yeah. And let's pay her a fair wage.
Yeah. And so I asked Tyler, and he said, I was going to give you that anyways. And I was like, oh. And then I started crying. And then I couldn't stop.
Were you crying? Let me see. I'm gonna let you tell me why you started crying, and then I'm gonna tell you why I think you started crying. Why did you start crying?
Because I felt valued. I felt like someone wasn't just sitting there and telling me I'm valuable, they were actually showing me. Because actions obviously are much bigger than words. And because he was excited to do it for me. And then he said, I want to make sure you, and he named a few other people who's like, you guys have been doing this all your lives and you should get what you deserve. And I'm going to make sure that you get it. And that's the kind of person that Tyler is. And so just that feeling of feeling valued and someone not just saying it, but proving it.
That's exactly what I was going to say. You started crying for the very first time somebody saw the value in Meagan Good. And they paid you accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You get emotional thinking about it, don't you?
I do, because I do feel that a lot of people see the value in me, and some don't, but a lot of people do see the value in me, but it doesn't mean that they're going to treat me as
Compensate you accordingly.
Yeah. Yeah.
You mentioned Tyler Perry. You're in this new movie, Divorce in the New Black.
A Divorce in the Black.
Divorce in the Black.
Yeah. What?
Because Divorce in the Black. So obviously, if I'm having to guess, you were divorced.
Yes.
You're a divorcee.
Oh, yes.
How much, having gone through that, were you able to fall back on and says, okay, and boom, here we go.
All of it. Because even though she's in a very different situation than I was in, it's still that reality of expecting that your life is going to go one way and then suddenly realizing it's going to go a totally different way. And then you are trying to figure out what you're supposed to do and having to learn yourself, but realizing that you've also changed and you've grown and then you having to kind of calibrate your mind to not be sad and not, you have to go through the sadness. You definitely have to go through the pain and the crying and the process, which is a process I think to some degree you never don't not have it in some way, shape, or form. As long as you don't let it make you bitter, you let it make you better. But the process that she had to go through to go, okay, now I'm in this next phase of life and I'm going to embrace this and I'm going to get excited about this and I'm going to figure out what I want and what makes me happy.
Right.
And having complete freedom after that to be like, okay, it's my world, what I want to do with it, Right. And so I think many of the moments that Ava had, there's a scene where I'm running and, it was just like I was just so there. I knew exactly where Ava was and I was just so there with her and I was pleased to be able to gift her with the realest, truest, rawest emotion of what that reality was.
Is it easier to play a role when you're familiar? Not just a character, but you're like, I've been there, I've done that. I actually know what a divorcee is going through in this very moment. I can tell you what it's like.
Yeah, I think it is easier, although there is your experience and their experience.
Yeah, because you might not have gone through the reason why she got divorced might not be the reason why you got the divorce.
Right.
So it has to be different. I mean, I'm reading that divorce, marriage gone wrong. Maybe it's domestic violence, maybe it's finances, or whatever the case may be.
Right.
But at the end of the day, is that big D.
Yes. Yeah, and the only difference is how does this person download and process it?
Yes.
Like, for instance, with my character in Harlem, it's the first time where I go, oh, okay, she's a Gemini. So I'm going to pursue all Gemini traits. So if you come at her like this, Meagan might get indignant and be like, but a Gemini is actually going to go, wait a second, and get introspective and a totally different gear is going to hit for them. And so that's the only difference is even though I can understand where the character's at, distinguishing the difference between not just Ava and Meagan's journeys, but Ava and Meagan's mentalities and their bandwidth for pain and their how much did they hide from their family, how much did they share, what's the dynamic between her mother versus her, all those things. That would probably be the only thing. But do I think it's easier in general? Yes, because you already have a leg up, because you already have such a rich well to pull from.
Should we view divorce as bad?
I don't know anymore. I don't know.
Prior to you going through divorce, how did you view divorce? But prior to it happening to you, how would you view it?
I felt like for any other reason besides domestic violence, I'm like, y'all better figure that out. But now I don't know. I think that what I experienced made me less judgmental about an experience that somebody else is having that I don't know what it is. And I can't say that it's bad or good for anybody. All I can say is that it hurt a lot for me, but I think that it also was a blessing to both of us in a way. And not because it happened, but because if it had to happen, and that was a part of our story. We both got so much from it.
Did you feel you let people down?
Yes and no, because I think I felt that I let people down a bit with the weight, because, you know, I never said to someone, well, this is what I think you should do.
Right.
And I never pursued making the book like, look how I did it, guys. This is what you know, it was never that. It was always people asking and inquiring me, saying, oh, well, this is the spaces that I'm in. This is what God's telling me to do right now. And people being curious. And from that coming a book talking about our experience, not necessarily telling people to go do it, but saying this is why it worked for us. And this is why, you know, we believe in it. And I still believe in the weight. And I still believe that it worked for us. I think that what didn't work for us were the reasons why we ultimately, divorced. But I think that, I think the weight allowed us to get the full benefit. And I think it's the reason that we're still friends to this day. I think it's the reason that we walked into the room with both of our divorce attorneys and, but you look great. Look at you. You've been working out. Yeah, you look great too. Da-da-da. How you doing? You know, and they looking like, y'all getting divorced?
Right.
And we're like, yeah. And they're like,
but you see,
okay, y'all just, okay, you know, and when they see us, you know, we see each other in the street, you know, people tense up around us and I'm like, how are you doing? You know, and it's just like, and it's genuine love. And I think a lot of that really is because of the weight and the way that we got to know each other and the quality of the human being and the trust that was there. Even if there, you know, was disappointment at the end, I can look at Devon and say, that's a fucking good person.
wow.
And I'm thankful for that time.
Divorce in the Black will launch globally on Prime Video July 11th. Did you ever freeze? Did you ever get stage fright? Or were you always a natural that the cameras, you like, I don't even really see the cameras.
Right.
I'm like, I'm on my own. I'm at home. I'm in my room. I'm in front of my mirror.
Right.
I got a brush and I'm just doing this. Did you ever have stage fright?
I think the first time on a job, like the first day, I always have first day of school, like jitters, you know, like nerves, and you just want to get it right and you just want to figure out the character and you just want to be in tune with everything that needs to happen. I don't think I've ever froze before. I think the only time I've frozen is when I was working on this job that it was a very, very big director, a very, very expensive job, and I just felt a lot of pressure. I was the lead, and it was kind of an iconic remake of something, reboot of something. Mm-hmm. And there's just so many hands in the pot and so many different people giving me directions.
Right.
And as a child actor, you just learn to kind of do what you're told.
Right.
And so when you have 4 different important people telling you to do something completely different, even at 34, I kind of just didn't know how to navigate that and like who to please first. And I just started to get so stressed out that I started to actually just forget my lines and completely forget them. And that was probably the most challenging job I've ever worked on, because it took me until this young Black director came in and was like, I know who you are. I know what you can do. Trust yourself. I'm not going to bother you. For me to go, okay. And then from there on, it was, you know, a great experience.
That was the reassurance that you needed.
Yeah.
That you could do this.
Yeah.
You were doing great at this.
Yeah.
But you were hearing too many voices.
Yeah, and also to just stand up for myself and just be like, look, y'all, one of you come and tell me, you guys decide what the 4 of you guys want to do, and then one person, probably the director, because that's the only person who should be talking to me while I'm filming, just come tell me what you know you need me to do. And I mean, it was very pivotal for me, because I walked away from it initially going, yeah, I don't know if I want to act anymore.
Really?
Yeah, because it was.
You got that discouraged?
Yeah, it was almost traumatizing, because there was one director who came on that was yelling at me. Like there was a stunt that we were doing and he told me no matter what not to stop, and I was like, well, if it looks like someone's going to get hurt, then I'm going to stop. And then also it went from the stunt guy doing it to the actor doing the stunt. And in one case, I felt that me running up and grabbing this guy from behind, we were both going to fall down the hill. So I stopped, and he just came out of the tent and was like, don't stop, just screamed at me. And it was the first time in my professional career where I was like, what do you want me to do? Like I flipped out, because I was like, yo, I am so nice, I am so kind, I am so easygoing. Like this dude was like wilding, and I was like, you know what, at some point. And then after that, everyone was like, because they knew me, and they knew that I'm like trying to, you know,
really easygoing. And for you to snap like that, you probably had it up to here, not here to up to here.
Listen, I was donezo, because it just, you know, it was completely inappropriate.
Right.
And anybody else wouldn't have thought twice about saying, yo, don't talk to me like that. But because I came from the background I came from, and possibly because I was a Black woman, I just was a little bit, and then once I said, look, that's enough. But it was interesting because he left to film something else and had to come back like on one of the last days to film a scene with me. And after I filmed the scene with him, I realized that I was like sweating profusely and my hands were shaking because that's how like under
He
my
brought
skin.
that on.
Yeah, he almost gave me like an anxiety to just So anyway, I made it though.
Was that the first time? Was that the moment that you decided that you needed to stand up for yourself?
Yeah, I think so. That was probably the first moment because the first thing he did before that was embarrass me in front of the crew because I had like this big dialogue and I was going over it and then he was like, just say it. And I was like, yeah, I'm about to. And he was like, no, everyone hold your work. Mind you, there's like 200 people on set. He said, everybody stop. Everyone stop what you're doing. Say the line. And I was like, and I was just so caught off guard that I had started saying it, but I was like fumbling through it. And then he was just like, you've done it 100 times. You've done it 100. Like he just like reprimanded me like I was a child in front of the whole crew. So there was that moment and I cried about that. So the next time he came for me, he got what he asked for. I am a Leo after all. I'm as kind as they come, baby. I try to make the best atmosphere for everybody and just best quality of life and just love. But I was like, okay, I've reached my limit with you. Yeah. Because I'm close to the edge. I'm trying not to lose my head.
Okay, that's what's up. Want to join Club Shay Shay? Become an official member by hitting that subscribe button, where you never know who's going to be joining us for drinks and conversation. Don't be late to the party because we like to do something before two something.